From the very first scene, I immediately thought, I don't like this. Call me optimistic Betty, giver of 100 chances, cause I went on a pointless venture looking for a silver lining. Neo and Mond were the only positive aspects of the episodes that I watched, but even the two of them combined don't make a silver lining. Maybe bronze. When the phone rings feels like it was written on poor quality crack. The first half of the drama had me eaten out of the writer's hands. I wanted it blended up and injected straight into my veins. The last half was an eye-rolling exercise. The last two episodes in particular are just so batshit crazy and out of the box. So out of the box, it's almost like they had a box filled with good ideas for an ending, but decided, how about anything but that? Like I mentioned in my Dear Hongrang video, this drama took the gold it had and used it to wipe its crusty, incestuous ass crack. It was more interested in perpetuating the most generic, stereotypical shit instead of building the interesting universe it had. This was a balm to my soul. Actually well-thought character arcs, thought-provoking dialogues, stunning visuals, good acting, chemistry between the actors, all these with a short runtime, mind you. The story itself isn't a complex one. No time traveling, aliens, reincarnation. It's an I and my older brother's friend are in love, and it's complicated because we're the same sex. The things this story does with this premise is a joy to experience. And the yearning in this drama is top tier, and from both parties. Check this drama out and thank me later. This story was pure horror. It was like watching a nightmare that could have happened to me unfold with just how similar I and the female lead are in character. The male lead.
I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you.
What a waste of breast milk. What a waste of pregnancy hormones. What a waste of childbirth labor. This guy invited himself into the relationship with the female lead, was selfish the whole time, expecting her every breath, move, thought, and being to revolve around him, and had the guts to be shocked when he was kicked out. This movie so rightly shows how society has used shame to control women. The male lead has no qualms spreading to all and sundry that he and Boomer have had sex. You fucked her? She fucked you too. So what? Were you not present for the fucking? Why is she to be shamed for something you both marked attendance for? It felt like a personal victory watching the character arc of Boomer in this movie, seeing her growth and her finally bite back. This is an older guy, younger girl relationship that I ended up enjoying way more than I thought I would, and there isn't a single kiss scene in it. One thing I admire so much was how the story was so, in a way, adamantly focused on their work lives. Their work is the tool to peel the layers of these characters. You see exactly why they work so well as friends / mentor-mentee, and why they will eventually work as romantic partners. I love the female lead Dongna so much. She is kind-hearted, yes, but she has bite. She's someone who still gets mad, has resentment, is selfish, but she's even-tempered and compassionate. And her work frenemy, the drama between these two, ooh, I love it. For every foul thing Chuning says to Dongna, she has an apt response. They're mean to each other, and I love it. The male lead, the way he looks at her, you know this is a finished man. Let's talk about the confession scene, the vulnerability, the openness, the care, and love. Communication is sexy, guys. Balloons and gestures and fireworks are really great, but words, oof. I don't think anyone understands my love of Fifa wine. I think my expectations had been lowered to the earth's crust by the previous couples that it was such a relief to have these two, and so I just love them that much more. Characters that actually communicate. Wow. An opposites attract, friends to lovers story with no crazy ex, love triangle, pointless last minute breakup, or stupid misunderstandings. Delicious. The amount of emotional investment I had in Shine is the same amount of real life investment I have. Unfortunately, zero. It just did nothing for me. My emotions went on a vacation whenever I put it on. I did finish it, but it was just because. I didn't have any particular reason, but I kept watching because, This wasn't as good as I hoped it would be going off of the first episode. There are Jupiter-sized plot holes and things that also conveniently happen for the plot to progress. Kim Go-eun carries the show. Her consistently impressive performance makes this worth watching. At times, in an attempt to make the male character badass, he's given certain characteristics. Cold, prideful, sharp-mouthed, and he does things that range from, oh, he's rude, to that is a legit crime, depending on how unhinged the writers want to get. So they can highlight the
female lead softened him
trope. They slap over the label of childhood trauma over these behaviors and then pretend they never happened. But having a male lead whose bad behavior is being rude to people, cutting them off, is quite different to a whole-ass king committing mass murder, forcing large batches of women to be his concubines, and still planning another mass murder. But even if we were to ignore that, the second half of this drama is a constant descent to painful mediocrity. The villains are evil and take over the palace by not very smart means. The so-called heroes take back power by not very smart means. The romance is blander than overcooked oatmeal. They should have just stuck to the over-the-top food reactions, honestly. Cliché in Hanyang more like. This is every cross-dressing K-drama tropes jumbled together, and not particularly well, I might add. The degree of predictable this drama achieved is unbelievable. You have to put in effort to be this uninspired. My God. Do I want Fan Xiao to be used as eternal firewood to feed the fires of hell? Hell yes. Do I want Shulang to marry him, drown him on their wedding night, inherit all his riches, and ride away into the sunset? Yes, yes, yes. Unfortunately, knowing Shulang's moral code, he wouldn't do that. I am very interested in Shulang's happiness. I just want him to be happy. Preferably galaxies away from Fan Xiao, but I don't think the writers will give me that satisfaction. But we'll see. Boy Next World is bad. There is no way of sugarcoating it. It is bad. With a story like Love in the Air, you can lean heavily on actors' chemistry as it's just purely romance. But with the kind of story Boy Next World wanted to tell, you absolutely have to have a fire script, which they didn't. So it was very
not good.
I love Boss Noel, but this was a train wreck. Forget the parallel worlds aspect. There's a really good psychological thriller romance somewhere in this story with the did he or did he not lie about losing his memory? But alas, the opportunity was missed. Yes, something is not right in the male lead's head. This was an exercise in frustration. You start out sympathetic to Bao's wish to put space between he and his best friend, who he's in love with, but the frustration this character brings to the table kills all that. The plot progresses to exactly where we started from. This was a complete waste of time. First, the filter. I hate that fucking Domundi filter. I despise it so much. Next, was anyone awake in the writing room? Was anyone alive in the writing room? This is a culmination of everything I hate about Domundi's utilization of Z Nunu as actors, wasting talent in senseless, directionless, pointless stories. All that matters, it seems, is the NC scene. My experience of watching this can be likened to, you know, when you're young and you see snow, especially snow in animated movies, and in your head, you feel it must taste like heaven. But then you mature a bit and realize snow is just water. Yeah, this is what this movie was like. This movie looks great. The actors are great. Choreography is great. The story itself, crickets. I am of the opinion this shouldn't have been a movie. 4-hour-long episodes would have done the story more justice. I see the lines the story is trying to draw between the male leads and their dance styles. One with his rigidity, control, measuredness, and one with his flair and openness and passion. It's just not done particularly well. Everything feels rushed, and the plot points don't carry the weight they're supposed to. And then the whole Cubans are spicy and feisty and passionate thing. Ugh. This movie also does something that annoys me, which is when there's some sort of competition, singing, dancing, sport, and they're like, you have all the skill and talent and drive, but all that's missing is love. Love is the key. That shit drives me up the walls. The romance is bland. The comedy didn't really hit, and our main hero is not very smart. The only acceptable reason for a person, no, a policeman, to take the rash, brash, senseless steps he did would be if he was dropped down from the heavens fully formed as an adult with no knowledge of how the human world works, and if he also landed on his head. I know the story will probably later give him room to grow and to be able to think before taking action, but I wasn't interested enough to care. I could also rewatch it to better understand why it felt like so much nothing was happening even in the chaos presented on screen, but I do not have a torture fetish. I simultaneously like and dislike my stubborn. The chemistry between our main couple is fantastic. There is a certain headiness to the sort of forbidden nature of their romance. Jin matches Sorn in wit, insults, stamina. It's just, there is zero energy directed to the writing of the story. The energy is invested on the NC scenes. Then they throw in 2 useless side couples in the mix.
I taste shit.
Another makchang that didn't toe the line between realism and absurdity very well. And while I enjoyed the rivalry between Dongju and the elder, pretty much every other plot point becomes convoluted and unnecessary by the end. I root for Dongju, sure, but so much does conveniently happen for him. I was also not on board with the romance. The moment that girl went from his bed to the altar, I didn't want them together. I think it was unbelievably cruel of her to completely blindside him like that. The first and last third of this movie are the exceptional portions of the story. Something I realized in the first third is, sometimes you just have to be rude. You just have to be a bitch and keep it moving. No one in this family wanted that man at their table. The way he invites himself to join them, his comments and behavior while they're eating. Everyone can tell something isn't quite right with this dude, but they keep up a polite facade with him. When he shows up again at their house, you can tell they are very, very uncomfortable, but they put up this fake performance of being nice, inviting a literal devil into their homes when they really should have just been honest with how they felt and told him to get the fuck out. The middle part is where I felt they dropped the ball. The story is telling us they have no choice and are trapped, but what is actually being shown on screen isn't matching that. It's like someone telling you, over this edge is 1,000 feet drop and you will die if you jump, but you actually look over and see that it's a 2 feet drop and then someone does actually jump and go unscathed. I think the movie should have had the family explore many options of escape, have their efforts thwarted, and that would convey to us the viewers how dire the situation is. The way it is, the family seems almost passive. The father was able to overcome the villain once. Why didn't he try again? Now, the ending and us getting context about what the first scene that was shown in the movie is also nicely done. So overall, not bad. It's just one slap, they say. But I imagine if it had been the wife slapping her husband for any reason at all, no one would be saying that shit. The first thought that popped in my head in that scene was, why did he slap his wife and not the person he was arguing with? The person who angered him and presumably betrayed him, why wasn't his ire pushed in that direction? His behavior after the slap also revealed so much. The inaction, the brushing over, the lack of remorse. I can assure you that if he had slapped that man, the one he was arguing with, there would be no brushing over. I love what the story subtly does, where if you pay close attention to the couple's lives before the slap and after, you realize the slap is a symptom that reveals what kind of man the male lead is. The little things he does and says before the slap and then the big explosive things he does and says after the slap just show the level of entitlement he has, how he views his wife as just an accessory. No, not just an accessory, his possession, who is there to help, support and give into everything he wants. I thoroughly appreciate that the writing didn't allow her to get with a therapist. That's one of the best things about this movie. The therapy approach, her confronting her parents, her acceptance of her parents being human and prone to mistakes, but also holding them accountable, her friends, those were all wonderful aspects of the story. But having the ending expressly state that the relationship between them would not be possible is a cherry on top of all those wonderful things. Younger me would have been like, with love, anything is possible. But older me has a developed brain and isn't swimming in an ocean of hormones and understands professional ethics and the importance of having them. Go me! I love this movie. I love the writing, I love the acting, I love the chemistry between the leads. I can liken the watching experience to when using a pressure cooker and what you see externally is only a measure of the chaos inside. It's also how most things are expressed in the movie, quietly simmering under the surface. You don't get over-the-top screaming mamas protecting their son's virtue from the poor girl. You already see how Ratna is treated because of her status, and it doesn't take E equals MC squared to figure out that that treatment will be much worse for her if she enters into a relationship with her boss. Ashish is nice and will treat her well. We know that. The point of contention isn't his love for her or hers for him. It's if that love is enough for the onslaught of ridicule and hurt that mostly she will experience once society gets a whiff of it. A story about terminal illness that isn't all about it. I mean, it is, but not really. This story, I would say, is about relationships. You watch certain movies about terminal illnesses and you can tell the movie makers want you to cry in certain scenes. Like, they would be less obvious if they trotted out a pink elephant on screen, bedazzled with the words, "We want you to cry right now." The relationships in this drama are so well written. The romantic ones, the familial ones, and the friendships. Taum and her friend, the director and the producer, the director's mother, and the actress. We have a variety of relationships to explore and to see the effects of these relationships on the characters' lives, regardless of how short they may be. The incident that becomes a turning point in all these characters' lives is a bit of a reach because you'd have to be legitimately insane to go along with the plan of impregnating your best friend to appease and change the mind of your father who's homophobic. So, you can be with women, he will probably say. And if they thought about this plan for half a second, they'd have also come to this realization. Someday, I will make a video about this series and vent all of my frustrations. The story is still pretty fire though. This was a very sweet friends to lovers story. The exploration of the father-son relationship and the effects of grief and guilt were also well done. It's so much better and funnier than my words can express. It's just really good. The positives of Squid Game Season 2 and 3 are that they are chock full of stars, like great acting talent. Kwon Yu's performance in those few scenes having him almost make watching these installments worth it. Almost. While like practically half of Season 3 has Wihajun's character playing Dora the Explorer, the happenings within the game, while exciting at the start, nosedives into just complete nonsense, and so many of the scenes feel emotionally manipulative. Sure, you could say Season 1 also wanted the audience to feel a certain way, but it was done more organically there. In Season 3, it's so heavy-handed. The good news is it's all over. Right? The reason I actually stopped watching this drama is the so-called traumatic first meeting our main leads had that eventually came up as a plot point. You mean we spent all this time with them first being at each other's throats, but eventually lowering their guards, getting to know and like the other person as adults, but the writer chose to pick this as a point of contention? An adult couple, and this is where the writer chose to pitch their tent on. Really? This plot point was so stupid to me. I didn't want to see that misunderstanding play out. I don't care if it gets resolved quickly or dragged out. The fact that it's even brought up when they are now two fully grown adults annoys the shit out of me. Also, I hate the grandma character. What a miserable, boneheaded bitch. I don't know if they later tried to redeem her character, but that would have also annoyed the hell out of me. Weak Hero Class 2 does so much of nothing. If it was possible to do DNA tests on stories, this one would need it, cause I can't believe it's related to Weak Hero Class 1. I mean, logically, I know this isn't the best thing out there. The story is makjangi, the dialogues can be the acting is just good enough, but who cares? When it's got my insides all in a twist. The feels, oh, so much of the feels. Not only did this drama give us such uniquely crafted characters, with the female lead who does contractual marriages and is now set to embark on another marriage journey with our male lead. Our male lead who was previously married to the Wicked Witch of the West, who is still remote controlling his life. The said Wicked Witch of the West, and the man she's currently married to. It also has such a sleek look of its own that gives off dark and mysterious vibes. To me, the series stalls in the second half with the addition of the stalker character. There is already so much to explore within the dynamic of our two main couples with regards to their past and even their current lives. Like, there is nuclear levels of toxic enough to power the entire earth between these four. So I don't get the addition of the stalker. He does nothing for me. Also, Revealing who the murder victim was that early took so much tension out of the story. Still, I appreciate it for the unconventional story it is, and the male leads had such explosive chemistry. I mean, it is So Hyun-jin and Gong-yoo. I would never expect anything less from masters of their craft. This is adorable. Everyone and everything is adorable. No stupid misunderstandings or exes or love triangles. Communication happens. Very lovely. I like when life gives you tangerines. The story sprawls across generations, it's slice of life, there are multiple very sweet romantic stories, and still, unlike a Reply 88 that I hold so dear to my heart, this drama was just okay. My enjoyment of this drama went on a downward spiral when Isun's mother died. What a powerhouse of an actress. After her death, there were highs for sure, but not like the initial episodes featuring her. I had started watching this, and by the second episode I dropped it because nothing in particular was clicking. I read rave reviews and decided to give it a second try, and wow, it was even more boring than before. Since there is nothing particularly egregious in the writing or acting, it's safe to surmise it's me. I'm the problem. It's an elaborate and ambitious story, but it doesn't deliver on what it aims for. The last half is needlessly complicated, killing the up until then satisfactory story with multiple misdirections and aha, we got you. The revelations of past events and explanations for how the major characters find themselves in the mess they're in the present is quite honestly ridiculous. The doctor, Daniel Lee, is the worst science practitioner I've ever seen. Even the headhunter with his unscrupulous ways is better at doing science than him. And worst of all, the revelation of who Headhunter's son is. This writing decision baffles me. After all the story had been building up to, what sort of message is this supposed to send? This disappointed me greatly, but still, the first half was fire, so it's not all bad. The ending of Tumbbad delivers such a great message, very in line to my feelings towards our main character. Why does he keep risking his life time and again for this so-called easy money only to squander it on stupid shit? Starting some sort of business would maybe not allow him the life of leisure and tomfoolery he was having, but it would still be a comfortable life. The ending beautifully ties up everything with the origin story mentioned at the beginning. Basically, greed will fuck you up. I mean, what's not to love about Gelboys? The way the characters fall in love, how they express that love, the mistakes they make, the things they hurt over is so well written and acted. It's teenagers being teenagers, but actually interesting. It's also so nostalgic for me because the rationale behind their actions are presented so well, and I'm like, yep, teenage me would do shit like that. It is so good. If you want to see an I would lay my life for you, I burn for you relationship expressed purely by actions, this is a drama for you. The way the leads valiantly fight for one another against their circumstances is endearing and honestly heartbreaking. My favorite scene is one where our two leads are attacked and in the scuffle someone is killed. The male lead convinces the female lead to go home, act like she wasn't at the scene, and he will take the fall for everything. She initially disagrees but eventually lets him go. Then he alone goes to the police station to turn himself in, and my girl power walks right behind him. Surprise, surprise! Surprise, surprise! She starts screaming. I was there, I saw everything go down, I know what happened. Involve me. I want to be involved in this. She's like, we go down together or we survive together. There is no in-between or compromise. And this scene made me go from loving the female lead to being in love with the female lead, honestly. I cannot recommend this enough. This is worthy of belonging to the Hospital Playlist universe. See that, Weak Hero? You can have a sequel with completely new characters and new storylines and still have it be really good. Just the fact that Khemjira didn't use that godforsaken filter that Domundi likes to plaster on all their dramas that makes the actors look kind of plastic and uncanny valley makes this a 4/10 drama already, just straight out of the gate. I would like to appreciate everyone involved in the costume, makeup, sound design, choice of location, choice of music, just 10/10s across the board. These elements lay a very strong foundation for the writing and acting to stand on and gloriously shine through. They really set that eerie, chilling tone you want for this story. My only issue with the story is the past lives aspect of our main characters. Because as the story starts to unravel what happened in the past, I felt detached. The emotions weren't hitting the mark for me, and after rewatching, I realized it's because I have no attachment to these previous reincarnations. I think we needed to spend time with one of the previous incarnations of Khem and Master Hotness and see them meet, fall in love, be in love, and then experience tragedy. That way, the longing and yearning for the other person in the present hits harder, and it makes it that much more heartbreaking and depressing to see them try and fail over and over and over again in succeeding lifetimes. The chemical and powered story that we got and that they chose to explore is too brief and is very much giving Cliff Notes version of a story. It revolved too much around Chayot's obsession over Chemica than exploring Khem and Pawat's characters and their romance. Nonetheless, this was a very well done story and I had a blast watching it. And I hope, I pray, whatever spirit possessed Domundi to make this will invite its spirit brethren and possess more of these showrunners so we can get more high quality content like this. Everything was going swimmingly well until they decided to spice this drama up with a little bit of villainy and a dash of subverting viewers' expectations. This show was so funny until it wasn't and became needlessly serious. I got tired, stopped keeping up, and eventually only watched the last episode to get some sort of closure. We already know Makjang is batshit crazy writing, but with the good ones, yes, it's still batshit crazy. But there's just enough good writing and framing of characters that makes the things that happen believable. Think Sky Castle, the first season of Penthouse, the initial episodes of Wall of the Married. This story is too concerned with whitewashing the female lead and painting her as the victim to have any distinctive bite or flair or punch. They hinge everything she did on, but she loves him, and all else should be forgiven. It's also too long for the weak sauce story they wanted to tell. Well, this was disappointing. We rarely get female lead characters that are morally grey, let alone outrightly and unapologetically villainous ones like Ajin. And they fucking wasted it. They skimped out on what should have been the best part of the series, cat and rat games between Ajin and her husband Dohyuk. This is where the bulk of resources, and by resources I mean writing, should have gone to. They should have made their marriage high-stakes tit-for-tat, plotting, probing, and pushing each other to see who's more batshit crazy, and they should have eventually been the downfall of each other. I didn't want either one to go unscathed. As for our two male lead, but kind of side characters,
those poor unfortunate souls.
Jail's sacrificial death is so stupid. You died so you could get video footage that with a good lawyer would be easily dismissed. For a man with as much money and influence as Do-hyuk, the content of the video is too flimsy to implicate him. I was like, no wonder he was doing so badly in high school. I mean, with such negative IQ behavior, obviously. You mean to tell me that this was easier and better than finding a way to reconcile with and be in the life of your brother? Idiot. Junso, oh Junso. There must be nothing but tar floating around in that skull of yours. Junso rivals Jo in stupidity. What do you mean your mom verbally agreed to stop bothering you and your grandfather if you give her one of your kidneys, and you believed her? No wonder Ajin is running laps around you. And what was that ending? I actually really enjoyed the first 2 episodes of Would You Marry Me? But after that, the onslaught of all the tropes. I don't even... Why?
My disappointment is immeasurable.
This year, I actually watched a lot more than what's mentioned here, but I didn't mention everything because for so many of them, my only comments are me likey, me no likey, plus there are just too many and I'm lazy, so this is what we have. This is what I'm working with.